On hot pink, I think it's important to have a good, healthy dose of whimsy in your projects, and that's something that you can see very evidently in the Yay-Query podcast. And being able to add that to HTML5 Boilerplate is a little tricky, right? Because you want it as something that is a default for everything. But I think text selection color is exactly where you can do that. And what adds whimsy more than an extremely ostentatious and feminine color? Can't do rainbow. So you only gotta pick one. I think pink does it. Alright. There's April 10th. There's where we actually publish the practices. Initial feedback was great. I mean, no one had seen a document like this before. And no one had published this. I think BBC and AOL both had some sort of best practice documents, but it didn't really. They were all kind of like, they read more like specs, and not so much as, not as friendly as this. But I think people were just kind of like, this is good. And I saw a lot of people that were like, we follow what they say. Sounds good. Yeah, so in May of 2010, we experimented with Sass because Divi was all about Sass, and I was like, that's crazy. I was just scared of it. I was scared of I shouldn't have been. It actually would have been awesome to use Sass as a default. Actually, I think that was actually Sass, and now Divya and I and the rest of the team prefer SCSS. So now we're going to shift things to SCSS, and I think that's rad. We changed the name to HTML5 Boilerplate, and that was because the name of the project was Pro Front-End Template. We discussed starting HTML5 template. Markup Zygote was the other one. And we were just looking for a name, and I remember I was actually driving to my parents' house when I thought of Boilerplate. And I was like, it's kind of weird because the word boilerplate, you think of boilers and then you think of plates, and that has nothing to do with with boilerplate as a term. But I felt like it's close enough to what we want to do, and it has strong enough name identity and name that it seemed smart. It's not a boilerplate as far as like code is concerned. Like boilerplate code is the absolute minimum that you need, and that's not what the project is technically. But oh well. So yeah. So we shipped in August 10th, 2010. At that point, we had a bunch of we actually only had a few contributors when we shipped. And the ones listed here: Jonathan Neal, Garowitz, JD Bartlett, basically the people who had found the repo. At that point, I think we had about like 120 watchers, so a good healthy amount of watchers on GitHub. But not many people had committed. I think we had some from Rob Larson at this point too. Soon after that, the build script started going on. So the interesting part actually is that I really wanted to. So HTML5 reset launches. HTML5 reset launched the day before us, and that was enough for me to say, okay, let's do it. I had been holding back, and Divya wanted to ship it, and I was holding back because I really wanted to get a build script. I felt like the build script was really important to the project and was great for performance, etc. I got to create a new video.